It's the Rodney Anderson Radio Show. And now, here's Rodney.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the show. Hey, we have a great show planned for everybody today. Rob Baldwin, my co-host, as always. Rob, welcome.
Thank you, Rodney. Afternoon.
Have you ever went on a little date, Rob?
I have been on a date.
Have you ever been online dating?
I admit I have been online dating.
You have, huh?
Yeah, I've tried it for quite a while.
Well, I will tell you, today's show is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to tackle deficit dating.
Ooh.
How to avoid going broke while dating.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so think about this.
Huh?
If we ask any single person out there what the one word that comes to mind when you say dating, what kind of answers you think you're going to get?
Probably not good answers. Probably not fun ones, you know?
Oh, you'll hear things like stressful, exciting, frustrating, and that list goes on and on. The landscape of dating is so much different than it was when you and I were younger, Rob.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
How do we meet ladies in the old days?
You had to do it face-to-face. Get a home phone number and wish for the best timing in the world.
The friend of a friend. And those relationships lasted
That
so long.
That too.
Well, that landscape has changed, and now because society has changed, and we are all so busy, we have options to allow this formula, our key points to match us with someone instead of having to do all of it ourselves.
Right.
The internet has created this monster out there.
Get it.
Yeah, according to a research study done January 1st, 2014, there are over 54 million single people out there.
Ooh.
That means, Rob Baldwin, you have a chance at 1 out of 54 million.
Well, some of those are dudes, right?
Yeah, some of those are dudes. The total number of people who have tried online dating, take a guess.
About 54 million? Let's say about 10 million.
No, 41 million people.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, that number does not specifically state about single people.
Got some cheaters in there.
So if you've ever tried online dating or a matchmaking service, you'll know the stresses involved with trying to find the exclusive one and only. Today we're going to take a look at just one aspect of that dating, and that's the financial strain of it. Yes, if you're single and you've tried online dating or a matchmaking service, I want you to give us a call right now at 1-800-EXPRESS. And I want you to tell us and let us know how it went and what the average you spent per date and how many dates you go on per week or per month.
That's a good one. Good question.
Yeah, we are joined today by nationally acclaimed and relationship expert Jen Styers, who is going to help us navigate through this complicated reality of deficit dating, how to avoid going broke while dating. Awesome. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Hey, Rodney. Great to be here.
Well, we are excited to have you on. So let's tackle a lot of this right up front. There's a lot of change in today's dating and today's society. Let's talk about some of those changes and what we can do to help us find love through all of them.
Well, I think what you guys have touched on, the online dating, technology in general has changed. I mean, we just have a lot more things coming at us, a lot more temptation, and a lot more opportunities. With social media, people are connecting, ex-boyfriends, girlfriends, connecting that way. You've got online dating. We've got, text messaging. What are the rules now for this with dating, and how does this enter in? So there's a whole lot of new dating apps, and I know it's not our generation that's using it, but the younger generation is using what they call a dating app called Tinder, and it's kind of their little online world. So there's a lot of technology, and unfortunately most of it breeds very superficial relationships. So we are dealing with a very, very different world.
Yeah, because, Jen, according to the same research study that talked about the 54 million singles, men use online dating who use it. They embellish most about age, height, and most of all their income. And women who embellish about their weight, their physical build, and age most of the time. But let's talk about the man. Do you find that men embellish about their income, and why?
Well, obviously to make themselves more desirable. It's funny hearing you guys talk about, this is an issue with dating for guys, because we don't ever think about that in dating because it's usually the guy that's paying. However, we are seeing some numbers where is it okay to go stag on a first date now? We've split the bill. There was a study done not too long ago, Rodney, where they actually talked about that. And most guys agree. Most guys are all for splitting the bill. And I think amongst the younger generation of women, they're okay with it too. I think where you hit it, it's like the 35 plus. Women are used to the old-fashioned guys and like that, the chivalry, and don't want to have to do that. So, yeah, so just interesting the way that we, by different generations, we feel differently about some of these things.
So, Jen, when you're dealing with all these things, I mean, what are some of the mistakes that men and women are, what are they making financially for that first date?
You're so funny with the financial. I always think relationally, you're all about money. Okay, so let me say this. So for the men that are making, like, from a financial standpoint, the one thing that everybody needs to know, financial or relational, is that you are setting the tone for the relationship on that first meeting. Even if it's before you even meet face-to-face, that first contact you're making is your first, their first impression, and you're setting the boundaries at that point. So you have to remember that if you set a really high standard on the first date, you come pick them up in your Lamborghini and you bring them flowers and jewelry and, or a gift of some sort, and you take them to the finest restaurant, I can promise you she's going to expect that every time. That's just the way. It's going to be a great date. Now, granted, it's going to be a great, wonderful date. What woman wouldn't want that and love that? But it's setting an expectation. So, men, you have to be careful about what you're doing on that first date. And also, from the standpoint of who are you attracting? If you kind of do a middle-of-the-road kind of date, even if you own a Lamborghini, pick her up in your other car.
In your friends. Hey, yeah. Rob, can I borrow your car?
Oh man,
I got a date. I don't want you to see. What I drive.
I'll be happy to switch out with you.
Our special guest today is relationship expert Jen Styers. Her website, lovejen.com. It's fantastic because, Jen, a lot of people believe in online dating. They go to all these things, but you have found that many people, because a lot of people make up stuff. Let's face it, they make up stuff. You go on a date with somebody, and you're getting ready to go on a date, and they say they're athletically built. So let's talk about this relationship part that you like. They say they're athletic built, but you meet them and their ass is really big. I mean, how do you, so that's the danger of the online dating. You found this formula for success through some of the matchmaking ways, and lovejen.com, that's JENN.com. Tell us a little bit about your philosophy about matchmaking and about online dating and everything else.
Just in general, I understand the online dating philosophy, and I think at one point in our world and society, it wasn't abused, and it was a great way to meet people. And for some people, it's convenient, and too bad that that everybody that's on there isn't looking for the same thing. As a matter of fact, I was just on a radio show this morning, and one of the guys was talking about couple of his guy friends that went on for one thing and one thing only, and they got it, and then they were gone. And he wasn't real happy with that and didn't want any part of that. But the thing about online dating is there's a lot of deception. People, just as you said, they can say they look any way they want. They make whatever money. They do whatever they do for a living. All of that can be fabricated. And I think worst possible scenario, you could be putting yourself in a dangerous situation because they're not pre-screened people. So having said all that, it's one way of finding people, but I don't think it's always the best. I mean, always the best way is in person, because I do believe that there are authenticity is first. Trying to put on airs, and I think we were talking about this at one point in a conversation, talking about everybody's trying to put on their best air for the first date, and that's good because first impressions are important, but you don't want to be somebody you're not. And so what I've done is I've created events where people, singles, can meet. And they're very real environments. They're not events that are pretentious or that put a lot of pressure on singles to have to meet or talk or do whatever. Just love happens organically in a natural environment. So that is my whole purpose of Love Gen. I'm not trying to bash online dating because I do think that it could serve a purpose. But the one thing where it's abused, and I hear this more with women than men, is that the guys are on there and they go out with a girl, and if she's not perfect, or even if she's great, he comes home and he's got another 200 emails in his inbox from women from the same site, and so he's trying out all these different women. Or two people get on and they start dating, and they think they have something going, and then the other one sees the other one online on Match or something. They're like, "Oh, I saw that they were
you were logged on."
Yeah, I thought we had something.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, Jen, if you'll do us a favor, hold on just a few moments. We're going to take a break. We have a ton of people calling us. 1-800-EXPRESS is our number. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls with Jen. She'll give us the relationship advice. One thing going out, Jen, I got to tell you, I love your philosophy on your website. Our goal at Love Jen is to help you find true love. And let's face it, if what you were searching for in the past wasn't working, then you wouldn't be here right now.
That's right.
Right?
All right. We'll be right back with more of the show.
You're listening to the Rodney Anderson Radio Show right here on 1190 AM.
All right, we're back, and with us today on our show, the relationship expert, nationally acclaimed relationship expert. She is fantastic. Jen Styers is joining us back, and today we're tackling deficit dating, how to avoid going broke while dating. Tomorrow on the show, we'll be talking about how to become the office MVP. Yes, the most valuable player in the office. Let's get to Heather. And Heather, good afternoon.
Yeah. Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I have a question. You mentioned how it's expensive for men to be dating, and I kind of want to say it's expensive for women too, especially those that are single moms and have a child or more, and we have all these babysitting costs. And, not only that, we're struggling to, maintain our daily life, and then we feel like, we need to make a good impression. We need to look good when we go out there, and so we're kind of like last minute, and we shouldn't be doing this, and I've learned not to, but go out there and maybe buy an outfit and you charge it, right? So could you give any advice on how to approach that if you're dating someone and, and you maybe see them more than once and you have all these babysitting costs as well as maybe even splitting checks?
You know what? I think that it's a personal choice. I mean, just like the man has a personal choice as to where he wants to take the woman on a date and how they're going to pay for that, I think it's a woman's choice, too, as to, how much money she's going to spend preparing for that date. And it's just the cost of dating. I mean, I get it, babysitters and outfits and makeup and everything to look beautiful. And it's important. It's very, very important. And maybe if we just let the men know, to appreciate that, that it didn't, that if men knew when they picked up a girl and she looks amazing, that took a lot of work too, and that may have taken a lot of money as well. And so we're both investing our time, our energy, our love, and our money into getting to know somebody, and it should be worth something, that, and I will say this, it's Heather, right?
Yes.
Yes, Heather, this is the advice I would give you. If you are doing online dating or going on a lot of dates, just make sure that you get really, really clear ahead of time as to who it is that you're looking for, so that you don't even, to waste even 3 hours of your life going out with somebody where you're away from your children, you're away from your life, you spent money and invested money into this. Just make sure that you know who you're looking for so you're not wasting any time dating. Dating's one of those things that's necessary, but it's not necessary. I don't think people should be going on tons of dates. I mean, people that do online dating are sometimes going out 3 times a week, and it's crazy. So, yeah, just make sure that you're, clear on who you want ahead of time, and that you've let that guy know you've taken the time to get to know him over the phone, and you let him know how important it is to you, and how much it means that you left your kids and your family to go out with him, so he understands the sacrifices you've made.
And Heather, I always say in my book, Credit 911, I always ask people, have you ever had a one-night stand? I'm talking about the outfit you buy for one night and it stands in your closet for the rest of your life. One of the things I'd advise people, when I've been out with people, the one thing you don't want to do is see them dressed up in this great outfit the first night, and then all of a sudden the second date, the third date, it kind of goes downhill from there.
Right.
It's kind of like the man having the standard, we'll ask Jen this in a second, the man having the standard about, where to take her on the first date. Do I take her to a steakhouse, a nice place, and all that? The same thing with going out and buying that fancy outfit. The last thing you want to do is go into debt or go broke because you think fate is in front of you, when the chances of that person from being online is not that love connection. That's one thing you don't want to go in debt with.
Hey, Rodney, maybe
Yes.
you could, that's a great point. And, it makes me think of hearing men say to me, like if a woman shows up and she's dressed to the nines and she's got really, her Gucci purse and her really expensive boots, men look at that and they go, she's going to be expensive to keep up.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and
I've
you
heard
look
that.
at the
Perception.
And Jen, you actually had somebody that, tell us about the Horchow thing. Wasn't it Horchow or somebody where a lady, you and I had discussed, where a lady was going to look at some boots?
No.
No? You
No,
talked about
I
a
don't think
lady
so.
that talked about the $5,000 pair of boots?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that story.
Oh, wait, no. I do not know. That's not the same story. No,
Okay.
as soon as
Different
you
horror
said that,
story.
no, it wasn't me.
Okay, so I was talking to somebody the
That
other
was
day.
another
I
horror
thought
story.
it was I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said the woman went to Horchow, and the guy said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm going down to Horchow and looking at some boots." And they were $5,000.
Oh my God.
And he bought it for.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Wasn't
okay,
that?
I'm sorry. No, what this was a guy that had taken a girl on a first date, and where he met her was near a very it was Stanley Korshak.
Oh, Stanley Korshak.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it was a very expensive place, and they got done eating, and she said, "Well, I want to go back and look at these boots." Well, I guess what happened is he ended up buying them for her. Well, you can imagine how the relationship went from there. First date cost him dinner at a really expensive restaurant, then $5,000 boots. Well, then he should not have been surprised by the fact that she expected at least that every single time they got together. So
true.
yeah, sorry.
See, I
The
have the
Horchow
money.
thing threw me off because I'm thinking that's a discount.
Yeah,
place.
hey, well, you know what? That's why I have money, because I'm not up to date on all the expensive. I'm not out there buying $5,000 boots for women.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Heather. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Jen, what's the, you see some of the biggest problems with the online versus the regular matchmaking and all that. How much should it cost to find true love?
How much does it cost?
How
to
much
find
should
true
it
love?
really cost to find true love?
Yeah, so I can
You know,
start
it's-
saving.
It's interesting you should ask that. There was actually a study that they did. I wish I'll have to find it and send you the number. But it is expensive. It can be expensive. And that's why it's important, I think, if we're looking to save money, like who isn't, we need to make sure that we do our homework before we start dating. And that really, the homework is getting clear on who we are, especially if we've been in relationships before, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what is it that we're looking for, what do we need, what are our non-negotiables in the relationship? Because for the most part, when somebody gets to be about 40, 45 years old, there's probably about 5% of the population that you'd even date. So leave out the other 95% and really focus on that small percentage, and you'll cut down your cost dramatically as far as, what's costing you to date.
All right, let's go to Angelo from McKinney. Angelo, welcome to the show.
Hello there, Rodney. This is Angelo from McKinney. I'm new here from New York, Brooklyn area.
Uh-huh.
And I listen to your show every Saturday, but Jen sounds like a very interesting person. I got a question to ask her. Jen, I came to Texas about a year ago from Brooklyn, and guys down at the warehouse told me a good way of meeting women down here was to get on this Match.com, and I went out a couple times, just renewed another 6 months last week, and met a couple interesting ladies, but my biggest problem is I'm on a budget, and when I see somebody interesting, I take them to a really nice steak restaurant and usually throw down $150 to $200, and oftentimes I don't hear from them the next day and never again. So, Jen, what is the perfect date for me?
Yeah, and Jen, I'm sure that Angela's not the only person in this. You take somebody out. When planning that first date, what have you found to be more of a preferred type? Because, you have this budget, and you take them to steak for the first time, but they really shouldn't be on that. You can't afford it. You got a beer budget, and she's got a champagne budget. How do you deal with that?
Well, I think it's important, first and foremost, the things that keep people together, that bring them together, is lifestyle. So, here you are thinking and assuming that a steak restaurant or the most expensive restaurant is the best place to take somebody on a date. But what if they're kind of a pizza girl? Have you taken the time to get to know them and go, hey, listen, what's your favorite food? Do you have a favorite restaurant? What do you like to do in your free time? Really get to know that person enough ahead of time where you set up the perfect date, because I've known women that don't even like to go to those kind of restaurants. They're very uncomfortable in that environment. And you take a great date in an environment like that where they're intimidated or uncomfortable, then it's not going to be a very good first date. So don't just pick the best place. Get to know the person and make a decision together. And I think it's always best to kind of keep it even keel, something really kind of middle of the road, so that in quiet, someplace where you can, get to know somebody. Okay, I'm going to give you this is one of my very favorite first date spots. It's Colvines. It is a pizza joint. They have pasta, but it's like they have music. It's just a fun little atmosphere. It's casual. They have a great wine list. You're not going to spend a ton of money, on dinner, but yet you have that opportunity to sit down and get to know somebody, and just it's a cool environment. Just find a spot that's got a little bit of character, but isn't going to break your budget.
All right, hey.
Yeah, that's a very nice wine bar in Shelter Legacy. Well, that's fantastic, because I'm tired of blowing $400 for that.
All right, thank you. Hey, Jen, hold on just a few moments. We'll keep you on for about another 5 minutes. Hold on just a second. We're going to take a quick break, and we got some more calls, and then we'll talk about Love Jen, the website. You got to go to it, lovejen.com. Hey, she's got a great Valentine's event. We'll be talking about that when we come back with more of the show.
You're listening to the Rodney Anderson Radio Show, right here on 1190 AM.
All right, we're back to the show. Our title of the show today, Deficit Dating, How to Avoid Going Broke Dating. Everybody has these issues that are out there. Guys spend too much money. Girls spend too much money. People go broke many of the times. We'd love to take your phone calls. 1-800-EXPRESS, 1-800-397-7377. She can only join us for a short time here because she's got a photo op. This lady's all over the radio nationwide, everywhere. Her website, lovejen.com. LoveJenn, Jenn. And I'll tell you, folks, if you don't have a dang thing to do on Valentine's Day, you don't have that special someone, Jen's having an event. Tell us about your event, Jen.
We're doing a Valentine's Day event, and we're actually featuring DFW's Most Eligible Bachelor contest. It's a new contest I've decided to start because women in the city have decided that the men might be players or whatever, that there's not enough good men. And so I decided to do the contest to show the women what amazing men are in the city, and there really are. Nice. So we're doing a contest. You can win a date with the bachelors. We've got a couple local celebrities also for dates, and it benefits the two animal charities, DFW Rescue Me and North Texas Cat Rescue. So I'm a big animal advocate. So we're raising money for some animals.
So where can everybody go? They can go to your website to sign up?
lovejen.com or lovejen on my Facebook, and it is at the Bubble Bar in Uptown on Valentine's Day.
All right.
Sweet.
Okay.
And let's take one more quick phone call, Jen, while you're on. Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. How are you,
Is
Rod?
Jen still there?
Huh?
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, what's your question?
My question is, I graduated from college a few years back in 2007, moved down to Florida with $15,000 in my savings account. Immediately, I felt bulletproof. I went out on date after date because I did the online dating thing. I didn't know anybody. So what happened is going out to lunch, dinner, 8, 9 months later, I'm in $12,000 of credit card debt. And
You're a busy man.
That was a busy man. That's right. It was, it was living a single life and feeling obligated. Like every time I did anything with any woman going on a date, I felt like obligated to pay. I felt bulletproof with my credit card. It was just like, I got this. Little did I realize 8, 9 months later, I get hit with, $12,000. It just added up and added up and added up. 0% interest credit card for a while. I felt bulletproof, and then here we go. And then, that's what I was in. So my question is, what are the expectations? When can you ask, someone to split something, or when do you talk about when you meet someone, the financial of, hey, I would love to spend time with you, but weekly.
But you're paying,
everybody's
baby.
on a budget. Yeah, everybody's on a budget. You know what I mean? You get to the point where you want to get to know someone, but you also have to take care of your finances first in a way.
Jen, go ahead.
I love, we were just talking about this, and I think honesty is so important up front. And, again, don't be overspending, taking them someplace you really can't afford, because then there's an expectation set. So, when you are on a date, you just said it perfectly. Like, I'm a woman. I'd love to see you again. I'd love to spend more time with you. However, I'm just getting started in my career, and I'm trying to be responsible with my money and save it. Is it okay, that maybe, our next date we go here, we go play, putt or golf or whatever, and just whatever you need, just be honest, because a woman's going to appreciate that. And I can promise you the only ones that really care about how much money you spend on them are somebody that probably is with you for the wrong reasons. So just be honest and upfront.
All right. Is that Brian? That help?
Yeah, that does help.
We appreciate it. Thanks. I think, Jen, a lot of people get caught up in that. I mean, they do. They go into debt. They feel like they need to go with the high society way, but I think especially in Dallas, in the Dallas area, I find that inside the bubble, I call, inside the LBJ area, but it's not just that, it's all around, and it surrounds us, and a lot of times it comes from our friends, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, the guy friends that are out there. I mean, one of the things that so many people do, they don't be honest with people, they get into all these problems, and then all of a sudden, guess what, they're left with this amount of debt, and they didn't have any fun. They had some fun doing it, but they didn't have really any fun. And I think that people they struggle in that area. When is enough enough? And so your final comments on here, Jen, because I know I got to let you go. When do you the honesty part is really good, but don't you see during these whole online and matchmaking and all that, where people are so dishonest? When can a woman ask a guy how much money he makes, and it's okay?
I don't think a woman should ever ask a guy how much money he makes. I think that the financial conversation needs to come up on both ends at some point in the relationship, but that's not what love is. It shouldn't matter, and we just back to what we just talked about with a date. I think that a woman, like if a woman is old-fashioned and does like the guy to pay, I think she would much rather have him pay at a less expensive restaurant than to split the bill at an expensive restaurant. So just keep in mind, I think a lot of people out there that are looking for love are looking for authenticity. So just remember to be honest and open. The last caller, I heard it in his voice. Like, that's real. He's really looking for somebody. Somebody's going to hear that. It's going to come through, and that's attractive. That's much more attractive and much more of a turn-on than a big, expensive, steak and lobster dinner. So, just be real. Be who you are. Listen. I think listening is so important on first dates. the first few dates. Listen more than you talk. Ask a lot of questions. Get to know that person. You're not in a race. You know, let things happen organically. Love is just it's a natural thing. And the best thing we can do to find it is to put ourselves in places where we are doing something we love. If we like to play golf, we're playing golf. If we're, into culture, into the arts, then, go to the symphony, go to an art gallery, spend your time in those places, and you'll meet other people that have similar interests. And really that's what it comes down to. Long-term ability is lifestyle and having common interests, because it's the day-to-day stuff that is, that is most important, because it's day-to-day. It happens every day. So that's awesome.
You gave us
put yourself in the way of good people.
That's right. You gave us great advice, Jen. Her name is Jen Styers, and she is fantastic. I mean, folks, you need to go to her website, lovejen, JENN.com. Man, she's got newsletters. She's got everything on that site. You need to go to her Valentine's, February 14th, her singles party. Sign up on her website. She is a matchmaking guru in the city. Jen, thanks for joining us.
You're sweet, Rodney. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Because if what you were doing was working, you wouldn't be single.
That's right.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate you. All right.